Dear reader, heed not my time of silence. I have no minutes to spare to indulge you into the very details of my leave of absence. All will become clear in due time. Rather, let us continue where we left off. As per my previous letter, you well know I did not garner any close proximity towards the old manor that haunts my very dreams, both waking and waning. But it should come as no surprise to you that my continuous ellipses of voice, now broken, was wholly dedicated to finding a way through the devious and winding woodland surrounding the castle-made manor. Storms continuously riveted the hollow and its surrounding area, leaving scarce a breath for clear skies to drag across the moors and village, stretching out to the forests and mountains beyond. Those days which seemed fleetingly blessed with humid breath, empty of rain, I claimed for embarkment out towards the woods. It took me a full week to find a thinning in the vast growing rhododendron surrounding the woodland expanse from all sides. I dared across the moors that day, dusk a faint rumour at my back as it started to stain the skies with bruised lilacs and blushing pinks, heating up by the second, dark hounding on the orchestral sky. Nearing the woods, I caught a glimpse of it. On the far west side, right before the recess that followed in the carved line of terrain having been the architect to design the natural locale. A negligent eye might not have perceived it as I did, but I was weathered to the minute details of the world, the coin-tumble nature of the earth. There where there was seemingly nothing from afar, a crevice split apart the bush upon closer inspection. Twilight was gradually falling across the world, and I knew better than to linger at that time of oncoming night to stay waiting for the dark. But I needed to imprint this vision upon my retina. I dared to step through the space, leaves and branches snagging at my coat, only to be enveloped into a world I could not comprehend upon first sight. Reader, the visions I beheld were those only brought forward in the mind's eye when reading a book of certain skill. Those tomes that conjure images of worlds vast and wide in one's imagination. Landscapes that set the heart aflutter, colours that make the very blood hum, smells one only ever reads about on parchment paper, slipping through eager fingers, wishing for more. Readers swear upon contentment of the imagination, until their imagination is made flesh. I find a reader is a paradox, satisfied while remaining not so, forevermore. Promises of adventure clinging to their auras, vivid imagery swaying about their dreams, always wishing, wanting, wasting away. But it's enough, they claim, while never quite being so. I myself know this all too well. But stepping through that crevice, the Ravenvale moors parting for the ever, the wood supposedly bearing Briargrove Hall in its folds, it was like teeth tearing into my very imagination. A crack in my cranium, a window always left open lest my mind might provide a wondrous scope on the often dull world we find ourselves in. Yet, in that instance, I saw my wildest wishes escaping through an open window. I, the beholder through a wooden frame, having climbed through and standing in an expanse of my own imaginative making. Only, it was not. This was real. A quiet hum hung in the forest air, shades of evergreen saturating around the colored spectrum, spreading wide into the deep woods. I cannot tell you why I did not tread deeper that first day, but I can tell you of the curses I threw at myself the following when I returned, stock for travel upon my person, ready to not return to the hollow, to scavenge for details. Scratched them down, pen pressed to paper, a vivacity in my bones, eagerness lighting my person, only to find the entrance once more obscured. It took me an entire month to figure out the reasoning behind the sudden opening a month prior. Reader, what lessons have you learned of the Earth's aura during a full moon? What forces come at play when a crescent has grown into a plate empty of that which the hungry souls beholding it seek to satiate their hunger? Hunger for the indescribable. Moon sickness is not reserved for the mad and the mad alone. Of course, that depends on what one might define as mad. I could sense the reverberation of power across the world as night fell on that fateful day a month later. I was wandering about town, having just returned from dinner at the Withered Witch, my shoulders hunched, face burrowed into my coat. I stopped before the town's entrance, eyes gazing upon where I knew the woods to be. It was the shifting grasses beneath that pale full moon that instilled the realization within me. The wind's blowing east, towards the woods. The light traveled upon them, illumination pointing a waving hand eastward. My breath hitched in my throat as I perceived the flickering far across the moors. I knew a decision rested upon my shoulders then. Now, or wait another month. Brave the dark, or venture at twilight in twice a fortnight time. Reader, at the height of a wave, one does not come down to check whether they might do better in a month's time. They persevere, and take the second chance into consideration. But every moment, the nowness of every single second, counts. My legs carried me over the cobbled paths, swerving through the chessboard-patterned village. I, a monarch unable to move straight and diagonal, setting out to fight for my equal. My steps did not falter as I broke through the doors of the corbeau, the innkeeper throwing me a disapproving glance, muttering something about the woodwork under his breath as he continued polishing the glasses while I flew up the flights of stairs. I looked around my small room, taking stock of my possessions, and knew that I could not bring my entire suitcase. I had to decide, and quick. Be logical about the things I would need for my journey. I grabbed my satchel and tossed it onto the bed, throwing it open and started stuffing necessities for adventure into it. Enough paper to last me a while. Pots of ink with the lid shut properly as to not open inside my bag and ruin work yet to be created. I acquired a glass bottle of water from the kitchen, one I could later fill up if need be, and a stock of fruit as to not die of hunger the first few days. The muttering of people in the bar of the inn held mention of my person one too many times. Money was slid across tables as bets were made. Would we see the youngster with a thirst for adventure ever again? Yes or no? Place a bet and wait for a fate one might never know the semantics of. I did not offer my key to the innkeeper as I left. My room was paid for a whole year at least. The entirety of my savings having carried me here with no hope to ever return home. So I let it slip into a small compartment at the front of my satchel and left the small inn at the heart of the chessboard village behind. Reader, it would be a lie to say I looked back. I did no such thing. My thirst for answers was rife, strangling me with the need for satiation. My legs carried me faster than they ever had before. My pocket watch told me it was half an hour before midnight, and I still had the trek across the moors to make. I broke through the tall grasses, the imagery of a month prior pressing upon my mind's eye, teasing me with wonder, with questions begging for answers, riddles wishing to be unfolded. I was a body breaking through water on its way to shore, the moors a vast ocean, the entrance to the Ever lit by moonlight. Stars seemed to sparkle beyond the crevice I had seen a month before, eyes twinkling as they beheld the adventurer running for the entrance as if death itself gave chase to a hunt. Dear reader, there is more to tell, more to know, more to be unveiled, but I would be a storyteller of low prestige to offer you the denouement of my beeline for the woods. Dear reader, we are a long way from home, and we will be longer still. Yours truly, Valor.